guys, welcome to another Aniblog. I am mentally exhausted right now. I made the mistake. Well, okay, first of all, I've been working on an art project literally all day. I got to school at 9, maybe 9:30 or something, and I left school about 30 minutes ago and I'm home now. And I'm working on, actually, it's a really cool project that I'm hesitant to reveal before it's finished because I don't know how long it's going to take to get it up and running, but I'm working on a website for Toonz, like a community website with a forum, common bugs and fixes, information organized. I'm trying to get something like that up there because I feel like that's something we really need. There's very little organization, and bugs that are already discovered are really hard to find the information about it. So I'm trying to put it in one local place. But unfortunately, it's not due Monday. We're having teacher-student talks Monday, and I don't have all the information up yet. I spent too long on the visual aspects of it, and now I'm having to go through the Google group and sort out what's actually bugs and what is just people trying to figure out how to do things. Oops. So, right now it's just a matter of finding everything and organizing it so that the site actually works, and also the fact that I'm making it in Muse, Adobe Muse. For anyone who doesn't know, Muse does not have the best code generation software. It's set up kind of like more like a compilation program. Like you're able to make the visual aspects. You have squares, you can import SVGs, you can make text, etc. You can set up your website visually, and then Muse generates the code. But unfortunately, because it is automatically generated code, sometimes that code doesn't work. I was trying to use a Google group and embed a Google group on the website, but the Google group doesn't actually show up. So I had to go to a forum hosting website and edit that forum to fit the design of my website page, which actually was pretty easy. It's still, the design's a little off. I still need to work on it. But now that the visual aspects are all done, I have to work on organization of information, which is not my strong point. Anyway, long rant over. I will post in the description where I actually start animating. I don't really have a plan for today, except there was this really cool video on Facebook that I was thinking of doing. It was, if you've seen it, because you may have seen it, there was a guy jumping from one trampoline to another and doing, not even really doing tricks necessarily, just jumping back and forth. And I think I have to show you because it's spectacular. I don't know if I could even do it justice in the description, so I think I shared it. There it is. So he jumps, and then he does this. And I'm just like, oh, he does do tricks. That looks like so much fun to animate. So I obviously can't do the whole thing because it's spectacularly long. Like, I think it's a 36-second clip, but it's gorgeous. So I think I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna make it with the visual license that both trampolines are actually on the screen. He's got some kind of mat down here, I think, in case he falls off the trampoline. That looks super dangerous, but, you know, that's always the most fun to animate. So we got our trampolines here. So, actually, something really annoying happened today. I was, as I said earlier, working on that website that I'm trying to get up and running. And in Muse, if anyone's used Muse, you know that some things are a little hard to find. And I was trying to figure out how to add an external link. It sounds like a pretty straightforward process, and it actually really was. But I looked for 5 to 8 hours over the 2 days. Or 2 or 3 days, I was trying to figure out how to add an external link. It's basically, you type the link in and press enter. So basically, I spent hours trying to figure it out. I tried using Flash to make a drop-down menu. I tried using HTML. It was a crazy process, and in the end, I ended up just being able to type it in, and I felt like a total idiot. But, you know, live and learn. Everything's obvious in hindsight. So we're just going to use a basic guy here, because I don't have the energy to design anything. Let's turn our onion skin on. I'm getting this, I don't know if anyone else has this this problem. Over here, it's a mouse just fine, but over here, I'm stuck on this cursor style. So, not a big deal. It's not actually affecting my workflow or anything. Just thought I'd mention it in case somebody else having that problem. You're not crazy, it's happening to me too. Oops. So, okay. Now, I didn't actually... Ooh, he kind of like, he doesn't bend his knees like I thought he did. He goes out like that, picks his leg up. Then he kind of lets gravity do the work. Does he do it like that, or... He does have kind of a little... He actually should have one nice little in-between here, where he kind of bends this leg as he takes this one off. Let's see real quick how that looks. And then after that, from what I can see, he ends up like this. His legs completely bent. But his back's actually pretty straight. And his arms are doing that lovely falling thing. Eee, I'm like a bird! Okay. His arms are totally bent the wrong way. Let's add this. That's better. There are right ways and wrong ways to break the joint, and that was one of the wrong ways. Next one, oops. And then he lands, for this one, he lands feet straight. The trampoline should be bowing out a little bit, so let's erase that. Feet are completely straight. We're pretending that this trampoline bowed so far that he is almost, he's partially concealed by this bar here. And then he kind of, he pulls his arms back like this, and he does this really cool flipping arms thing. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this. This isn't quite right. And I need to pull this eraser down because it's extremely large. Up here, instead of having his arms there, I'm actually going to erase that and have his arms over here. And actually, let's do that, but I'm gonna pull this one down and this one down. I'm gonna make a quick in between here. I want his feet to come down here, and I want him to have his arms back, ready to do this lovely whoof of the arms. And we're gonna actually make a little bit of motion blur type stuff here. So let's turn off onion skin and see how that looks. So he got super small for no reason. Okay, give me a second. And then this guy, we want onion skin on for this. We don't want the trampoline to move any, we just want him to be bigger. Okay, that I think is better. So now let's try that. Onion skin off. Okay. Standing. I feel like that should be a little lower. So we're getting a little more of a woof. Don't you love my sound effects for this episode? And now, for this next one's going to be interesting because he's literally flipping. And I think these trampolines are too big for him. So what we're going to do is we're going to resize the column. I think there's a way to do that. Let's how to okay. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna go to level settings. We want this to be closer to 10. Nope, 10 please. Now let's see if that works somewhat with the size. So, because I screwed up and had to resize him, that didn't work. So we're gonna come over here, go back to level settings, use camera DPI, and now what we're gonna do is we're going to change the Z. And then move him over here, but that's still going to be the fact that he can't get to the other one. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to trace it and start over on that front. Ooh, but that's giving me some nice range for this body here. So what I'm going to do is I'm making a new level, and I'm just going to go ahead and trace all of my previous frames. Actually, I can just copy and paste, I think. Well, that didn't work. Oh, that's because he's on drawing 2. They're still making it bigger. Well, that's annoying. I have to trace. Okay. No biggie. We're gonna adjust levels, make this guy really red. And that way I won't confuse my levels. And I need something a little more solid now. Okay, let's see what we got here real quick. Because I wanna know, basically, is this looking right? Yeah, I think that's working. So we're gonna go ahead and come down here. Tracing him. He's got his feet ready to land. Arms back. Brush. We want him now to be in this trampoline with his arms back, but he's also pulling his arms forward, because that whoop with the arms was just so cool. It's like I want to show indication that he's gone into it, but I feel like that's overkill. Yeah, that's too much. So we're just gonna do that. Now we're gonna deviate because we have more time for this now. So I can do this frame where he's got his arm outstretched, and that's his arm is in the middle of his waist. So that would be a very interesting anatomy point. He's still kind of getting some air on that hand. And now we can start flipping him. And this is like... I've completely deviated from my last one. I don't have to worry about it anymore. This is like... If I pull his arm up here, I don't know if he actually does this in the video. This is me trying to figure out how to make it look natural. And how to get this turn to actually happen. And right here, he should be mostly visible. He's starting to look like Baymax here. He's not that fat. I feel like he's growing. Is he growing? He grew between those two. So let's go ahead and shrink him a little bit again. As you may have noticed, I'm not very good at portion control or proportion control. Volume control, that's the word I was looking for. Oh, what's it doing? There you go. And I think he's actually getting back to the right size for that. So we're gonna go ahead and leave that on. Save and control save just in case. He's gonna be barely visible over this trampoline thing here. Oh no! This is why we save and control save. Okay. And by that I mean save level and save scene. Browser. We're going to be in the wrong day because of that. No, we want to load the scene, not just the level. Oh no! I forgot to save my background. Oops. Well, this one we can go ahead and delete. So now I need to figure out where the trampolines were. So obviously he's standing right there. So that means, oh, I have to add a frame. Okay, good enough. Oops. It didn't like that. Browser. Back to say 62. Scenes. Load scene. What do we got here? You delete. I'm going to delete this and we're going to make a new level because it didn't seem to like me adding a... It didn't seem to like me adding a frame when there was no level. So, there you go. And now, the goal here is to figure out where all my trampolines were. So let's assume that he's on a spot right here. We're gonna take this opportunity to kind of adjust some of the things that were going on. So I want to be able to show that. So I'm going to make this part thinner so I can show the bump without it being overkill. I still want it to be the right kind of angle. I don't want to lose my angle here. And for this one, I was noticing that it was going to get a little hard to get this guy to bounce without hitting his head. So I'm going to make it a little lower down here. Or not his head, his feet. So I'm going to make it a little lower down here. And thus my trampolines have returned and it is saved. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn my lovely onion skin back on. Right now I have onion skin with no colors. I'm going to actually turn those back on. Well, the reason for that was I was working with... Actually, I realized I did this on stream so you guys saw it. I was working with the tentacles for colors, and when I had the colors here, the colors weren't showing up right, obviously, and it was getting very hard to tell what was what. Now we're going to kind of pull him here, and we're going to overlap this a little bit as if he's hit this trampoline. And I think he's growing again. I don't really worry about it, but this is something I need to work on, so I'm trying to get myself to pay attention to it more when my volumes are getting wonky. So he bounces, and I should probably watch the video. Oh, that's why he looks weird. His lovely feet are actually more like this. And no, they're not like that. His feet are more like this. He bent them for the bounce. Which makes sense. That would help to push kind of the force into your back so that it does bounce. And I'm gonna, like with the other one, I'm gonna give him a second frame here to hold him there longer and push him further into the trampoline. And for that, I'm gonna pull his legs up a little bit more so it looks like his legs are kind of dragging behind a little bit. And then I gotta watch again, but let's go ahead and save all my levels because fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, and I'm an idiot. Ooh. You know, the trampoline actually does go pretty far down, so I'm gonna come up here. And with this one, he's got kind of like that. And I don't get the opportunity to do it over here because my trampoline gets cut off. But I can do it over here because I can see the whole edge. So he's using the cool thing, like if you watch this, sorry. Notice how he uses his arm. His arm is straight up, and I think that's what gets him to turn. Back here. There. Arm straight up, and he turns. And I'm not doing all these somersaults and things. I'm probably just going to bounce him back to the other trampoline for this one. And I'm not gonna do his dismount because I value my sanity. What's left of it. I could watch this guy all day. Anyway. So what I need is how he gets off the second trampoline, because I've been watching it, and obviously I'm watching it real time, so it's a little hard in the first place, but it looks like he just comes off of it actually. And I'm gonna kind of, to emphasize that force going on that. I'm going to pull his legs back a little bit and see if that looks good. And he's growing again. This guy has growth spurts. And I'm gonna show his kind of like arm up in the air. See if I can get this to look right. And he's turning. And by this point, he's already brought his arm down because he's completely turned around. And he should be slightly smaller than this. And he's bending, getting ready for hitting that trampoline. And he's too high. He's going to totally hit the trampoline in a bad way. I think that's a pretty good arc. Now let's go ahead and hit the trampoline. I'm gonna have to in between this some to get the timing right. I tend to do straight ahead animation just because planning an animation every single day would be a ludicrous amount of time. So let's just scrub through this and see how it looks. Oh, that's bad because that looks like it's the other arm. So we're going to erase that and see how it looks. I'll probably have to make an in-between for those two. Let's see what happens when I, first of all, delete those two because it's starting to annoy me. Okay, now let's reframe this to 4s and see how that looks. Oop, lost my trampoline. I think maybe on 2s would be just fine. It's a pretty quick motion. Oh, that is too quick. So what we're going to do is I think this is just too choppy and I'm going to in between. I think for this I actually want it to kind of still be backwards. Let's go ahead and save this level real quick because it would suck just to lose it now. We're actually going to let him bend his knees in this part because I realize it's probably going to make it look better. And he's kind of still pulling his arms forwards in this one. And this is going to give us a chance over here to pull his arms in a little bit because he's kind of gone straight from that to that, and that's a little bit drastic. Actually, I'm going to let that be because I feel like I already have 2 frames and I like the speed. But I'm going to forget this whole arm thing because it's making it too hard to make it look right. So as cool as it is, I am just going to give him a more relaxed transition. And I'm going to go ahead and in between this one favoring the next drawing because I feel like he'd be turning pretty quickly with this. He's at the top of the loop, I'm going to go ahead and favor the last drawing. So this one's going to get to go a little bit slower. And since this one's 2 again, I'm going to go ahead and let it do that. So let's go ahead and reframe this to 2s for all of them. And pull this up to 60 so we don't have to sit here and watch it bounce. That's looking better. I feel like over on the second bounce here, I need 1 more to really push him into that. And you know what? The reason that looks weird, I'm just realizing that, is because you pull it over here, and what it should be doing right here is going even further. I'm not pushing the trampoline enough, so it looks like he's just kind of hovering in place. Let's see how that looks. That looks bad. we're actually going to get to use that, I think, after all. I think he needs a smaller one of those. Actually, I think he needs to be slightly bigger. Let's try that. Let's go ahead and pull this, extend this out and see what we get here. Okay. So I think he goes too slow at the beginning here. Like, that is another in between. So what I'm going to do here is in between all of these middle frames. Or maybe I could just, we're just going to pull out every in between up here. Or, no, actually, scratch that. We don't want to do that. We're just going to take these and we're going to reframe it to ones and see if that looks stupid. That is too many frames there. This one needs to move upwards a little bit. And this one could use moving downwards a little bit. There we go. Now we've got a little more of an arc going on there. So let's try that. Let's put these on 2s again. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to put everything else on 3s. So step, nope. We're going to first reframe to 1s, and then step 3. And this one reframed to 2s. Okay, let's try that. It's going really slow. And I have to extend this out. Do I lose my... Yeah, I do. I think that's about what I have energy for tonight, so I'm gonna probably leave it there. because of where I've got the stop marker. So let's remove markers. Play one more time. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna go ahead and do all the rendering and stuff off recording. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, give me a like. Don't forget to comment and subscribe.